Gotcha.
Which grant?
Number 6 is the South Tampa and Utica. Number 6. Hey, Glenn, number 6 is South Tampa and Utica drainage, correct?
Yes, that's correct, yes.
All right, okay. So we're ready to go over here, except Ms. Young is ready.
Are we recording?
You've done enough for your finance, so you.
All right. All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We will call this last of 2024, Thursday, December 19th, 2024 finance meeting to order. And at this time is my last time to say this. I will yield the floor to Chairman Westcott.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, everyone. Welcome. Item number 1 on our agenda this evening is discussion regarding the city payments to APERS for the A&P Director and employees, sponsored by Councilmember Paul Gray, and to him I yield the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had an A&P meeting today, and I know last agenda prep you guys saw a document with a $262,000 bill. We are still working on 2 former part-time, well, one was full-time for a little while, part-time, and then another part-time employee. So there's 2 employees. We're still working on those. We haven't received the documentation we need, but I can give you a ballpark of what that might look like. The long and short of it is Ms. Graham has gotten her retirement account that she took money from the A&P because we were paying her retirement as we understood to do it. A total of $31,030.83 for her personal contributions, then $92,108.81 for the employee, the A&P contributions to her retirement, and then because she thinks it's the right thing to do and because she wants to, she is going to contribute an extra $11,675.91 to this deficit, or to this fund that we need to pay. So that's going to leave, again, this is not all finalized till we get the last employees. We do have another employee that A&P is going to pay the $51,7877, and then the other one is $69,1699, and A&P will pay that. And then the city has worked out an agreement. Mr. Mayor, you can jump in here, and Mr. Smith as well, a 24-month repayment agreement with the Arkansas Public Employee Retirement System to take care of this. So again, those are the numbers we have right now. That puts it at about that $99,382.30 with what we're left
Interest.
with for the interest payment.
Interest payment, yes. We did reach out to APERS, and like I said, we do not have an appropriation in front of us due to the fact that the A&P meeting was this afternoon. So they are, A&P and Ms. Graham will be making payments to APERS, but APERS has, like I say, agreed for a 24-month, no interest repayment plan of the interest at the end of when we get all of this information together. I think we're, like I say, trying to grab all of this information and put all this together as quickly as possible, and I believe the teams have done a really good job of getting all of this together to make this happen as quickly as possible. Once we have a final number, I believe that's when we can come to the table with APERS and request what does that look like. And we did request quarterly payments. Any more question? I know we're just in the discussion process of things at this point in time.
Is there a reason to do it quarterly instead of just paying it and being done with it?
I think there's a possibility that we could do that. I would like, before we jumped into that, I would like to know where we're at carryover-wise going into 2025. I'm not objecting to that personally, but I really don't know where we're going to be carryover-wise going into it. Otherwise, I don't know where that money's going to come from. It would have to come from carryover.
It's my understanding that we have like emergency funds, backup funds. Would this not be what that would be used
We
for?
do have, with the council's approval, you could if you chose to do that. I would say for sure if it was an interest payment, I would definitely say for sure do that. But yeah, well, the council could approve accessing the emergency funds and paying that in full once we have a total number. That would be if the council would approve that.
Yeah, and we still have those two employees. One of them was part-time, then full-time, then part-time, and then we have a part-time employee. We still don't have those numbers, so that we need to get a final total to see where we are. But I'm okay with that too, depending on what the number looks like when it's done.
It just seems like lump sums typically better than payments.
Okay. And I would agree with you if the council, I don't have the permission to use that, but if the council approves that, I think we would definitely be able to do that.
Mayor, to your knowledge, this 24-month repayment plan that's been offered by APERS, does that stop any additional interest when we enter into that plan?
Yes, yes.
The clock has stopped.
Once, yeah,
Yeah.
I think the clock has, they've agreed to not
Excellent.
accrue extra interest at this point in time. Now that we've, A&P is getting their payment there, Christie's getting, Ms. Graham is getting her
Right.
payment there, so yes.
So financially, there would be no benefit or penalty for paying 24-month installments versus paying one lump sum. There's no financial advantage to pay a lump sum, is that correct?
I don't know that there's a financial advantage. I think the advantage would be that you wouldn't have to be coming back for 8 different appropriations to the council in each quarter that would be the only advantage that I would see.
Okay.
I mean, there may be others that someone is thinking, or yes.
In my opinion, I think the advantage is that we get it done and we don't have to.
It doesn't come back
deal-
up.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
but
Like I say, that's, if the council so chooses to do that, I think that would be totally fine. So,
Is there any other discussion on item number 1? Okay, moving on to item number 2. Let's combine 2 and 3 together. Number 2 is consideration of a reimbursement request for the fourth quarter expenses for 2024 from the Russellville Regional Economic Development in the amount of $42,491.25. Similarly, number 3 is consideration of a reimbursement request for the fourth quarter expenses for 2024 from the workforce development portion of that in the amount of $42,407.19. And I move that we forward items number 2 and 3 to the full council with a recommendation of approval.
Second that.
Seconds. Any discussion on items number 2 and 3? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Was there other discussion?
I was just gonna,
Mr. Keller.
I was going through the numbers last night, and I know that I get that where it's not, doesn't exceed the cap for the year, but it exceeds the cap for the quarter. And I was just kind of going through what all the different things were for the reimbursements. I think that since they get reimbursed quarterly, but they also come and speak to us quarterly to give us like updates of where they are and what they're doing. I would love to correlate them coming and speaking to us, giving us updates as the same time that we're doing the
Right.
reimbursement. So if we have any questions about, all right, what is this or what is that or how did this go, like I had some questions from the stuff I was reading, but unfortunately they're not here tonight.
and she did speak at the agenda prep.
Yes,
Dr.
she did.
Selman.
But we didn't have the stuff in
We
front of
didn't
us.
have the
We didn't have the
documentation, yeah.
documents in front of
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. If we could have she'll come and talk to us, but we don't always have the documents in front of us when she's here to talk. So I would
Right.
love to be able to schedule that so that when, or Main Street and, any of these, groups that we're funding, if we could correlate their reimbursement with when they come in to talk to us. So if there are any questions, we could talk about it at that point too.
Well, perhaps in the beginning of the year, when the rules of procedure for the upcoming year are discussed, that could be something entered into that if that's what needs to happen. But certainly, you all here have the option to make that happen exactly as you described.
Miss Selman and Miss Carter both had conflicting schedules tonight, or they would have been here.
No, I understand. I understand that there are, things come up, and, it maybe it won't work every time, but, I don't recall getting the reimbursement quarterly reimbursement at the same time that they were here to give their update of what's going on with the contract, usually happening. And sometimes when they come in and they give us their update, part of the update with the reimbursement is, and we're working with Trey to get all that stuff to them. I would love for them to be able to work with Trey to get that stuff to them, so when they do give us that update, we have that information in front of us. So,
No, that makes perfect sense. Any other discussion on 2 and 3? Thank you, Mr. Keller. All those in favor say aye.
aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Mayor, to my knowledge, that's the last of our agenda. I yield the floor back to you.
I'm sorry, just real quick. We don't have to, because it exceeds the quarterly cap, we don't have to suspend any rules or anything like that when we come together as a full council for, I know it doesn't go over the yearly cap, but do we need to suspend the rules, or how, do we need to do anything special parliamentary-wise in order to make sure there's no hiccup, since this does exceed the quarterly cap?
No, because it was in the agreement for the year.
Okay, great.
Okay, yes, sir. Oh, I did. All right, we will adjourn and we will reconvene at 6 p.m. for a full council meeting. I'll put that on. That we will have a special call meeting.